Hey guys, Ashley here again. And in this video, I want to talk about racism and prejudice. And these are two huge topics in our country today and around the world. It's a big issue, and it shouldn't be. White people aren't superior to anybody. Nobody in any country, any color, any language, any race, any whatever, nobody's better than anybody else. God created us all equal. We are His children. And we need to act that way. You know, we think because your skin color is not the same as mine, your language isn't the same as mine, whatever, that you're not as good as I am. And that's not true. One thing I want to really talk about is what we've done in this country to suppress our African American brothers and sisters, our Latino brothers and sisters, Asian, basically anybody that's not white and born in this country, we've suppressed. And it started with our forefathers buying other people as slaves. Now, slavery isn't new. Slavery wasn't a new thing when our forefathers started, well, basically took over this land. We practically wiped out the natives that were here because we wanted what they had for ourselves, for themselves. And so we brought disease. We brought what was considered back then superior weaponry. We fought, we massacred, we conquered, we suppressed. The Native Americans that were here, we put them in small pods on what we call reservations. And when we made our government, we made them adhere to our rules and regulations. Basically took all their lives, their rights, everything away from them. We did the same thing with the Alaskan people and the Hawaiian nation. Sadly, we celebrate that, we glorify that, and when we shouldn't. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. And then we took a whole nother race of people from Africa and we made them our slaves. We made them do our work. They worked in the fields and ran the farms and cleaned our houses, and whatever we wanted to do that we didn't want to do ourselves, we made them do in horrible conditions. They were beaten, almost starved, a lot of them killed. For what? Because we thought we were better than everybody else. And guess what, people? We're not. We're not. And then, once the war was fought over slavery, and it was a lot more than just slavery, but that's the main thing that we look at. And the black race was given their quote-unquote freedom, although they still really weren't free. We found a way to keep them suppressed. They were still subpar citizens in this country. They were discriminated against. They're still discriminated against. And not only them, but then our Asian brothers and sisters. Oh, we went to war, and even though these people were born in this country, they were American citizens. Because we're at war with your native country, then we can't trust you, and we're going to throw you into these concentration camps. People don't remember that. People don't look at that. People don't own that. Oh, we didn't do that. Oh, hell yeah, we did. And you know, we bash other countries for doing such things, but yet we're just as guilty as everybody else in the world. We look at the Germans and how they treated the Jewish nation and put them in concentration camps and killed them in mass numbers. And though maybe we didn't kill a lot of people, but we still treated them like they were the enemy. And even today, we lash out, we commit hate crimes against the blacks and the Asians and the Latinos and the Middle Eastern nations. Oh, we're trying to help these people in their country, but yet in our country, they're hated, they're killed, they're abused, they're suppressed, and we don't think anything of it. Oh, that's not wrong, it's not bad. Well, hell yeah, it is. That's the worst way in the world to treat people. You want to know why there's high crimes, why there's high murders, even blacks killing blacks, or you know, Asians killing Asians, and Latinos and whites, and you know, everybody creating crimes against their own quote-unquote race of people. It's because we created that. If we truly treated everybody equally, if everybody had an equal chance of good housing, if everybody had an equal chance of good education and good jobs, we wouldn't have these problems today. But yet the white people found a way to put these other folks on the back burner, to shove them off into one corner of a city or a county, to continue to treat these people as subpar humans. They're not good enough. They're not white. They're not us. They're not. So we're going to keep them over here, and we're going to give them bad housing, and we're going to give them poor education. We said they're free from slavery and all that stuff, but yet we're going to keep them suppressed because they're still not as good as us. Well, guess what, people? That's just downright wrong. And if we'd have treated these people equally from the beginning, because we are all equal, we are all created by God, we're all loved by God. And guess what, people? The human race, as we know it, started in Africa. It's been proven scientifically, archaeological wise, that the human race started in Africa. But yet, they're not good enough. So what are we going to do? We need to change. If we'd have treated them equally from the beginning, if they'd have been given good houses and good land and good education, then we wouldn't have the problems that we have today. We wouldn't have race wars. We wouldn't have hate crimes. We wouldn't have insurrections. We wouldn't have a president that thinks he's better than everybody else and that he thinks he needs to be our ruler. So what are we going to do about it, folks? There's been a few that have broken out from the suppression and made a good education for themselves and a good living for themselves. But the majority of these folks are still living in poverty. They're getting a very poor education. They have to fight for everything that they get. And that's just wrong. It's just wrong. Even in our churches, we have discrimination. You know, we can't have complete unity in our churches. Oh, there are a lot of really great churches that have a lot of mixed race that come to that church. But there's not enough. There's not enough of that. We have to embrace everybody. We have to love everybody, regardless of your skin color, regardless of your language, regardless of your sexual orientation. Regardless. We've got to treat everybody equal. To go back to the video I made before, if we start treating everybody equally, if we let everybody into the church, if we let people know they're loved, that they're accepted. We want you to be a part of our family. We want to grow. We want to learn. We want to study together. Then that's a great beginning to stop all the hate, to stop all the fighting, to stop the senseless hate crimes. It's got to start with the church, because that's God's family. Again, you want to know why people are dropping out of church. You want to know why people just refuse to come to church altogether. It's because of the hate. It's because of the discrimination. It's because of the politics. It's because certain races think they're better than everybody else. It's got to stop. It's got to stop, people. It's not what Jesus taught us. Jesus said, what you do unto the least of these, you do unto me. And oh, we're good about preaching that and talking about it, but it's our actions that speak. It's our actions, people. If we don't openly practice what we preach, what we're taught, what we know, then it doesn't make a hill of beans what we say. We can say it all day long, but if we don't practice it, it doesn't matter. So please stand with me. Please help me make changes. Please help me to open the churches, to open our hearts, to open our arms, to accept everybody in. It's the only way we're going to stop the hate. It's the only way we're going to stop racism and discrimination. It's the only way. Think about it. Ashley out.